Kia ora, it's Claire here from Santulan Yoga. Starting in the centre of the mat with feet hip-width apart, growing tall through the front and back of the legs, the side waist of the body, rolling the shoulders back and down, bringing the palms of the hands forward, and just taking a breath here in Tadasana. When you're ready, inhaling, bringing the arms up overhead, interlacing the fingers, dropping the backs of the hands to the top of the head. And inhaling, rising up, stretching the arms up, coming up into the balls of the feet. Exhaling back down in your own time. Inhaling once more. And exhaling. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhaling. Exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, once more inhaling and exhaling. Stepping the feet out about 2 feet wide, inhaling to center, exhaling, dropping to the right, inhale center, exhale to the left, right, left. In your own time, we'll do this 3 more times. Exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, once more to each side. Inhaling to center, dropping the arms to shoulder height and twisting through the waist now. To the right and to the left. I'm going quite fast here, but you can slow it down. Just go at the pace of your breath, inhaling to center and exhaling as you twist. Just a few more times. Bring the feet together again, feet together, knees together, inhaling, arms coming up, palms together. As we exhale, bending through the knees and releasing the bottom down towards the floor. Now you don't need to bring the bottom all the way down to the ankles if that's not accessible for you. You can come halfway down or just have a small bend in the knees. Inhaling. And exhaling, bending through the knees, releasing that bottom down as far as you feel comfortable. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, once more, bending through the knees, releasing back down. And inhaling, back up again. Staying in the center of the mat, either walk or jump the feet out. We want the space between the feet the same lengths as one of your legs, so we have a nice equilateral triangle. Placing the left hand into the small of the back, right hand on the right thigh. We're going to bring our torso over to the right, over the right leg. Now, depending on your body, you can either place your hand above the knee, below the knee on the shin, or if you've got a little bit more flexibility, down onto the foot. Bring that left hand up, so the fingertips are pointing up towards the sky, rolling those shoulders back and down, opening up through the chest. If the neck is okay, you can turn the head and look up towards the left arm. If not, you can keep facing forward, or if the balance is a bit of a problem, you can actually turn your head and look down towards your right foot. So we'll just take a few breaths here, breathing into Trikonasana, triangle pose, sinking down through that right hip, and pushing the left hip outwards. When you're ready, bending the knee and rising back up to center. Switching the feet now, turning the left foot out 90 degrees, right foot coming in at a 45-degree angle. Bring the right arm into the small of the back, left hand on left leg, and bringing that torso over top of the left leg. Opening up with that right arm, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling, really opening up through that chest. And we want to try and get the left and the right shoulders in alignment as best as you can. Again, if the neck is okay, turning the head and looking along the right arm. If not, either just looking forward or you can look down towards the left foot. Taking a few breaths here, feeling into this side, feeling any differences compared to the right side, sinking down through those hips. And when you're ready, bending through that left knee, bring the torso back up to center. Turning back to the right side now. Facing the right leg, bring the left arm up overhead and hinging at the hips, we are extending that left arm forward and placing it onto the right leg. Again, you could have a block here if the placing the hand on the foot or the mat is not accessible. And we're just very gently twisting over to the right. The right arm can be on the hip, or if the balance isn't quite there, you can have both your hands on either side of the right foot. Taking a few breaths here. Really grounding down through those feet, slightly pressing the center of balance back towards the left leg. This will help keep your balance. Taking one more breath and looking down towards the right foot before you stand up again, just to gain your balance. Turning to the other side now, squaring those hips towards the left leg, bring the right arm up and hinging at the hips, crossing that right arm across the body to the left leg now, left hand on left hip, or again you can place both hands on either side of the left foot if the balance is a bit tricky. The balance is feeling good, very gently twisting over to the left hand side. Taking a few breaths here, grounding down through those feet and very gently pressing the center of gravity or pressing your weight more onto the back foot, onto the right foot. This will help with the balance. Taking one more breath, looking down towards the left foot before we stand up again. Adjusting any clothing as you need. Coming back over to the right side, turning the right foot out 90 degrees and stepping the left foot out a little bit wider, bending through the right knee. And you can place your right forearm on top of the right thigh and bringing that left arm up overhead in a straight line so that you draw a straight line from the left arm all the way down the side of your left side of your body, down to your left leg. And you can either stay here, or if you like, you can release that right hand down towards the ground on the outside of the right leg. In this position, ideally you should be looking up at the palm of your left hand, as if you've got a little secret written in the palm of the left hand. Again, if that's too much for the head and neck, you can stay facing forward, or you can turn the head down towards the right leg. And you can always walk that left leg out a bit further. And just gently releasing there, coming out of that side angle. Turning to the other side now, left leg, foot turning out 90 degrees, bending through the knee, bringing the left forearm down on top of that left thigh. And reaching that right arm up and over, creating that nice elegant long line down the right arm, right sideways, right leg, and do feel free to walk that right leg out a little bit further. And if you wish, you can bring that left hand down towards the mat. Place the fist or the palm of the hand down on the mat on the outside of the left leg. Turning the head, looking into the palm of the right hand, or if you prefer, looking forward or looking straight down to the left leg. And when you're ready, releasing, coming back to center. Placing the hands on top of the hips now, keeping the legs in that first position with an equilateral triangle. Inhaling at the top, exhaling, hinging from the hips and releasing the torso down over the legs. So folding forward. Toes can be facing straight forward here. Or you can bring the toes slightly inwards. We'll take 5 breaths here in the forward fold. With the hands on top of the hips, we want to be rolling the shoulders back and down, keeping those shoulder blades on the back. If the hamstrings are a bit tight, you can have a very soft bend in the knees to protect those hamstrings. Just feeling into this position here. And when you're ready, bring yourself back up, rolling the shoulders back and down when you get to the top. This time we will interlace the fingers behind the back, palms together. And as we exhale, folding forward. And once the torso has come forward over the legs, we can start to release the arms down as well. So we want to move the arms as if we're trying to get them behind our head on top of the mat. That's the action that we're looking for. But just very gently with the shoulders here. If you're unable to keep the fingers together, you can always hold on to a strap as well. And the key for this one is to relax the shoulders as much as possible. We want to get a nice stretch through these shoulders. So taking a few breaths here, again having a little micro bend in the knees is good if the hamstrings are a bit tight. And when you're ready, releasing back up to center and releasing the hands from behind the back, placing them just on the hips again for a moment, inhaling and exhaling, hinging forward. This time releasing the hands down towards the feet. If that's not accessible, you can place the hands on top of the shins or the thighs. Here I've got my peace fingers wrapped around underneath my big toe and my thumb resting on top of my big toe. Or you can just place the palms flat on the feet or the mat, whatever's most comfortable for you. So taking a few breaths here, Again, being mindful of those hamstrings and making sure that head and neck is nice and relaxed. They just want to be dangling there, allowing the torso to dangle. Give our spine a little bit of a gentle traction here. One more breath. And when you're ready, placing the hands back on the hips and rolling that torso back up to standing. Give the legs a little shake if they need. And then we will come towards the front of the mat. Placing the feet hip width apart. Rolling the shoulders back and down, inhaling, raising the arms up, and exhaling, folding forward, releasing the hands back down towards the mat. Again, you can have your hands on your thighs, your shins, your feet, or down on the mat. Here I'm placing my hands beside the outsides of my feet. Again, letting the head and neck hang nice and heavy, nice and relaxed here. And if the hamstrings are tight, a small micro bend in those knees. Taking a few breaths here. Inhaling, lifting the head, coming up onto the knuckles of the hands, or if that's not accessible, onto the fingertips, or again placing the hands on the shins or the thighs. We want to find a comfortable position to straighten the back. We'll just be here for a moment, looking forward. Taking a breath, and then as we exhale, folding forward again over those legs. Walking the feet out to the edges of the mat and bending through the knees, releasing the bottom down towards the ankles. Again, just as far down as you can, as you feel comfortable. Ideally, the feet should be flat on the mat, but if you need to lift the heels, that's okay also. You can roll the edge of the mat up and place the heels on the mat to give yourself some more support. Pressing the outside of the arms onto the knees, knees pressing the arms in, palms together at the heart center. Nice straight spine. Nice long spine. Just releasing any tension in the lower back, opening up through the inner thighs. Taking one more breath here. And when you're ready, releasing the bottom down towards the floor. Bring the bottom to the center of the mat, extending the legs long in front. Making sure the hips are square to the front of the mat. And we'll bend through the left leg now, bringing the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Squaring the hips again. Inhaling, raising the arms up overhead, exhaling, hinging from the hips, extending those arms forward, and just placing the hands wherever they land, whether that's alongside the leg, on top of the leg, or if you have a bit more flexibility like me, you can bring the hands around the bottom of the foot, and either looking at the toes or at a spot just beyond the toes. We'll take a few breaths here. Breathing into any tight or niggly spots in the backs of the legs or the lower back. One more breath, and releasing the hands, walking the hands back up. Bring the torso back up, shoulders over hips, releasing that left leg long. Reposition the hips, bending through the right, bring the right knee, bringing the right sole of the foot into the left thigh, inhaling, arms overhead, exhaling, hinging forward, extending the arms long, folding over that left leg now. Flexing the toes of the left leg back. We want to keep the muscles in the leg itself nice and engaged. And again, placing the hands over there most comfortable, alongside the leg, on the leg, or like how I am on the foot. You can also grab the toes if you wish. Nice and soft through the shoulders, neck and head, looking towards the toes or a spot just in front of the foot. And with the right leg, with the leg muscles of the right leg, just very gently pressing that right knee outwards. Breathing into any sticky spots we've got. With each exhale, releasing any tension. And when you're ready, walking the hands back, bringing the shoulders up above the hips. Extending both legs long, readjusting the hips here. Rolling the shoulders back and down. And when you're ready, we will inhale, the arms alongside the head, exhale, folding forward over both legs now, extending those arms long and just placing them wherever they land. Flexing the feet and the toes back towards the head, keeping those leg muscles engaged. And ensuring that we are hinging from the hips. If the back starts to round, or if the lower back isn't moving much at all, then that's a sign that we need to ease back on this and just bring the hands back a little bit further. We need to protect the back and the hamstrings in this position, so only go as far as you feel comfortable. A few more breaths here. Really breathing space into that back body now. This is a strong stretch for the back and the glutes and the hamstrings. Very common areas to be tight and sore. And when you're ready, releasing the hands and very slowly pressing yourself back up to a seated position, bringing those shoulders over those hips. Bending through the left knee now. We're going to bring that left shin out to the left side and bring the right shin so that it's in line with the front of the mat. So we're making some right angles with our legs here. With the left leg, we want to be turning the left foot so that the inner part of the sole is down onto the floor, and very gently pressing that left hip down towards the floor. If you can't get both hips down, you can place a cushion under the hip that's a little bit higher, but this is just the position that we're working towards. So shoulders over the hips. Just getting used to this position for the hip socket. Nice deep breathing here. And you can place the hands wherever they feel comfortable, whether that's behind you, beside you, in front of you, whatever feels best. Now you can either stay here, or if you like, you can start bringing that right shin in and extending that left leg long behind you. So just rolling over onto that right hip as we bring the right shin in. Bringing the hips forward, so screwing the hips to the front of the mat. Coming up onto our hands or our fists. Lengthening through the spine. And letting the fronts of those hips sink down towards the mat. Taking a few breaths here. Now if you're comfortable, you can stay in this position here, or if you'd like to go a little bit further, bring the hand of the right side, bring the fist down onto the mat, bending through the left knee, drawing that left foot in towards the bottom, and reaching around and grabbing that left foot with that left arm. Again, this is an option if you want a stronger stretch, particularly through the front of that left thigh. And if you are in this position, you can either look back towards the left or look forward towards the front. Quite a lot of things going on in this asana here. When you're ready, releasing that left foot back down, screwing the body to the front leg, the right leg, and drawing that right leg back, coming into a tabletop position now. And just switching sides, so bringing the left leg forward, shin squaring to the front of the mat, right leg coming out towards the side, out towards the right side. Again, turning the lower part of the right leg so that the inner part of the shin and the inner part of the sole is flat onto the mat or the floor. Again, just listening to your body and trying to find the position that is most comfortable for you. You can bring that leg, the right leg, out more or in more depending on how open your hips are, and ideally gently pressing down through that right hip socket to get the bottom of the pelvis down onto the mat. But if that's not accessible, do feel free to pad it with a jumper or a cushion or something. We're just working towards getting those hips square. Now you can stay there, or if you like, you can start to extend that right leg back along the back of the mat, left leg, and bring that foot in towards the center, squaring the hips to the front of the mat, making sure the front of the hips are sinking down towards the mat. And it takes a little bit of adjustment to get into this pigeon position. extending through the top of the head, nice long, elegant spine. And again, just like with everything, with each breath, just softening any sticky or stuck areas. Again, in this position, if you can't quite get comfortable here, you can place a cushion or a jumper underneath the left hip to give you a little bit more balance. And staying here, or if you'd like to extend a bit further, bending through the right knee, bringing the left hand down to the center of the mat and grabbing a hold of the right toes of the right hand, rolling both those shoulders back and down, and you can either look over to the right shoulder, looking over the shoulder, or to the back of the mat, or you can also look forward straight ahead, whichever you feel most comfortable with. Taking a few breaths here. And releasing when you're ready. Releasing back to a tabletop position, giving the hips a little wiggle. And releasing the hips back down to the heels. Knees coming out wide, big toes together, and releasing the arms long in front. So coming back into this child's pose. This is a great release for the lower back. It also gives you a chance to open up through the fronts of the arms, through the armpits, staying active in those arms. Taking a few breaths here in child's pose. With each exhale, softening and releasing any tension at all. One more breath here. And when you're ready, looking forward to the front of the mat and bring yourself back up to a seated position. Nice and gently, slow, mindful movements. Finding a comfortable seat. Thank you for joining me for class today. To close the practice, we will chant 3 Oms, followed by Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi, Hari Om. Taking one breath to prepare, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Bring the hands into the heart center, rubbing the palms of the hands together, creating some heat. Now placing the palms of the hands over the eyes, peering into the palms of the hands, allowing your eyes to adjust to the light. Placing the hands over the cheeks and the face now, and over the throat and the neck. Placing the palms of the hands together again, creating some heat once more. Warming the fingers, backs of the hands, thumbs, wrists, forearms, elbows. Bringing the palms of the hands back to the center of the heart again. Thank you for joining me for class. I hope you enjoy the practice. Hari Om Tat Sat.